drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? What shall we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning, way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Way hey, and up she rises. Early in the morning, pushing it along, put it till he's sober. Pushing it along, put it till he's sober. Pushing it along, put it till.
Welcome everybody to the Joe Perez Show. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning, 11 a.m., November 10th, 2020. The year of pure chaos and shit. Literal shit in the streets, but that's because I am in Los Angeles, and that is something that I have become accustomed to. I don't like this time of year, but also it's my favorite time of year just because of the weather, the holidays, the food, the family. But the reason why I don't like this time of year is because my nose is completely stuffed and clogged the entire season of fall and winter. I don't know about you guys, but I can't do anything to help my sinuses. I don't have coronavirus. I don't have a cold. It's just my nose is just clogged and I can't do anything about it. I spray Afrin into my nose probably 17 times a day. I know you're not really supposed to do that, but I don't care. I'm going to spray Afrin in my nose until it falls off. So I don't give a shit about that, but that's it. That's my entire podcast. I'm ending it right now, and that's it. That's my update. But no, that's it. I'm excited because today I'm going to be able to put this podcast actually on iTunes and Spotify and all that stuff, so you don't have to just listen to it or watch it on YouTube. But if you do want to watch it on YouTube, you know, you're probably already here. It's the Joe Perez Show on YouTube. And also, my TikTok is blowing up, dude. I know I have criticized TikTok. I still criticize TikTok. I think TikTok is horrific for our youth, for the millennials out there, for the whatever the term is for kids who are like 13 now. The Gen Zers, Gen Xers, I don't know what it is, but kids who are born in the year 2000 and up, TikTok is horrible for them. And of course, it depends on what you are watching on TikTok. The way the TikTok algorithm works is that, you know, there's something called the For You page, which is basically the main source of content when you're on TikTok. It just gives you videos related to videos that you watch a lot. It's hard to explain unless, you know, you just got to really go on TikTok to understand what I'm trying to say. The For You page, it just shows you videos. Like the algorithm, it shows you videos based on what it thinks you like based on other videos you watch. So you just keep scrolling. You just scroll, and it just keeps showing you videos from people all over the world. It's like on Instagram on the Explore area where it just shows you random shit based on what you like. So if you like to watch little kids dance, it's going to show you all little kids dancing. If you like to watch political stuff, it's going to show you all political stuff. My algorithm on TikTok is so bizarre. It's like 80% political stuff, pro-Trump stuff, you know, anything in the political realm. That's like 80% of my TikTok. The next 10% is like animals. The next 5% is retarded people. Like, I mean, like actually like physically and mentally retarded people. I don't know why, but TikTok always throws them in there. But, you know, shout out to them. I ain't hating. It's just very bizarre how the algorithm works. And then the other 5% is like alarmingly young kids dancing to like Wet Ass Pussy by Cardi B. And it's very disturbing. I have to, you know, manually tell TikTok that I don't want to see videos like this. But that's it. That's what's going on. I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing on Nintendo Switch. I'm a man. I'm a grown man. But until I am able to grow a full beard, I am going to continue to play Animal Crossing on the Switch. It's a good game. It's fun. You know, play with my girlfriend, play with our friends, whatever. Politics, dude. Let's talk about it. Last time I did an episode of the Joe Perez Show was right before the election. I was fairly certain that Donald Trump was going to win. I am still confident that he will win. But as I suspected, as many people on the right, many conservatives, many Republicans, many people with a fair mind predicted that the mail-in ballots would just fuck everything up. And it looks like they are fucking everything up. There's been many allegations. Sorry, I have to clean my nose, dude. I'm fucked up right now. Many allegations of voter fraud, widespread voter fraud, and voter irregularities. I don't like to say irregularities. I'm calling it fraud because that's what it is. You know, you could sugarcoat it and say irregularities, but it's fucking voter fraud, dude. It's these fucking Democrat liberals, progressives, a corrupt establishment, whatever the hell that means, against Trump. They knew they're going to get their asses crushed by Trump. So they had to come up with some way to fix it for the Democrats and fix it for Joe Biden. Unfortunately, they didn't fix the election for the Democrats on like a local level, on like a state, city level, because they got crushed in the House, Senate, whatever it is. The Republicans, fortunately, won that war, but the media will have you convinced that the Republicans have lost the country to Joe Biden. They lost their glorious leader, Donald Trump, to the crypt keeper, half alive, racist. You know, I don't think Joe Biden is a racist, but he's definitely said some things in the past that could be, you know, looked at as highly racist. You know, you can't go into a 7-Eleven and, you know, not see an Indian person. You know, I don't want my kids growing up in a racial jungle, 1994 crime bill, all this stuff. But I don't think today he's a racist. I think first of all, I don't like digging up clips of people talking from like 30 years ago because the social and political climate was far different back then compared to today. You know, I don't think Joe Biden's a racist. I don't think Donald Trump is a racist. I think you can take anything anybody says and, you know, contort it to the narrative of your choosing, you know. But there's been some horrific allegations against Joe Biden that will make you very uncomfortable. I know this whole thing about Ashley Biden, his daughter, and her diary saying that Joe Biden, her dad, would have very inappropriate showers with her when she was younger. So that's not good. The Hunter Biden stuff is not good. You know, one of the things I don't like about politics and the government and the way our country works is that you have these massive news stories that break. You know, Hunter Biden's laptop, the collusion with China, Ukraine, Burisma, the pedophilia allegations and evidence, apparent evidence on the laptop that Hunter Biden was, you know, raping young Asian kids or young Chinese kids. One of the things I don't like about our politics and our government and how our news cycle works is that, you know, a story such as the Hunter Biden case can explode into the country, in the country's mainstream media. But then the following week, something new will happen. And then that Hunter Biden story or whatever story, you know, that equates to that will just be completely forgotten. You know, so now the big story in the country is voter fraud, the election, Joe Biden, Donald Trump not conceding, the mainstream media calling it too early for Joe Biden, the mainstream media acting as if Joe Biden is for sure the president of the United States, even though we have an actual legal process that now has to take place due to the accusations of voter fraud. So it's just like each big story gets overshadowed by the following week's big story. And it seems like no actions further take place to the previous week's, you know, big controversy. Like, I still think Hunter Biden should be investigated. I think, you know, just based on the shit that was found on his laptop, based on the evidence that Joe Biden knew about his dealings in Ukraine and how Joe Biden's family is highly financially benefiting off of Hunter Biden's, you know, or just benefiting off of Joe Biden's name when he was vice president. It's very frustrating that none of this stuff, you know, goes to court. Maybe it will go to court. Maybe I'm speaking too soon. Maybe it's just those big stories are put on the back burner. Who knows, dude? But it's very frustrating how all that stuff just goes away in the media. It makes you wonder if all this stuff really is, brought out there for political purposes and not in the purpose of justice and the law. So who knows? It's very frustrating, but I am hopeful that Trump and his legal team will prove voter fraud. Attorney General William Barr, we'll get into that, has authorized an investigation in these states where it appears that there has been voter fraud. It sucks, dude. I just wish that this mail-in shit never happened. I wish that we all just were able to vote in person. But even when you vote in person, there's going to be some fuckery. And I'm pretty sure there's fuckery in every single election, big and small. But come on. Like sending out hundreds of millions. I don't know the exact number of mail-in ballots that were mailed out to the American people, but mailing out millions and millions of ballots across the country, this is not a good idea. I don't think it ever was. And I think there was some malicious intent behind it all along. I think, I don't know. I'm not some political expert. I'm just an American patriot. I wish I was a political expert. I think one of the things that's good about Trump and being a Trump supporter is that it forces you to sort of research all these accusations against Trump and all these different aspects of government, because you want to be literate in the topic of government when a crazy liberal comes up and says Trump is racist or he can't do this or, he puts little Mexican kids in cages. You got to research this stuff and understand that a lot of these accusations against Trump are false and they're just used to gaslight the American people into thinking that he's a racist or an evil dictator. And, Anderson Cooper literally just, this is yesterday on CNN, Anderson Cooper just compared Donald Trump to an evil dictator whose son would drive around and, murder people. It's like when you are saying this, you're supposed to be like a news reporter, like a, freaking news reporter who's supposed to bring the people news, and when your lead anchor on CNN is out there just saying stuff like this, you have morons like Antifa that are going to look at that and be like, all right, Trump and his supporters are fascists. We need to go out there and put an end to them, even if that means physical violence. And, there's been so much videos of these far left liberals, Antifa people saying that they agree that political disputes should resolve through violence. And that is insane, dude. That is insane. That is what the media is pushing when they say stuff like that, when Anderson Cooper says stuff like that. By the way, why is every CNN anchor, news reporter a gay person? I have nothing against gay people, but it seems like it's like tokenism, tokenism in film, when you have to have a black guy or an Asian person in your movie just because you don't want to have an all-white cast. It's like, what is CNN doing, dude? CNN truly is like this evil Saranist empire, dude, where they have nothing but ill intent against against one half of the country. It's sad. So I have some headlines to get into from some of my favorite news outlets. One of them, of course, being InfoWars. And say what you will about InfoWars and Alex Jones, they get most of their shit right. And Alex Jones has predicted so many things throughout his life, throughout his spotlight in the media, through InfoWars. He said so much shit that has been controversial, that he's been called an idiot, a conspiracy theorist, but most of the shit he says is actually true. And he reports on shit that the mainstream media just will knowingly ignore. He's going deep into voter fraud. The mainstream media will look at voter fraud and say, oh, this was a perfectly fair election. There's no such thing as voter fraud. But if there's accusations of voter fraud and you're so confident that your, political candidate won fair and square, then why would you be so reluctant to investigate voter fraud? You know what I'm saying? Like if I was a kid taking a math test in class, I know I'm going to fail, so I use my Apple Watch to cheat. I have all the answers to the test on my Apple Watch or whatever. Maybe a math test isn't the best example. All right, maybe like a history test. I wrote all the answers on my Apple Watch. I'm going to go into class knowing that I'm going to cheat on this test, knowing that I'm probably going to get a good grade. But if I didn't have the cheat sheet on my Apple Watch, I would probably fail this test. And then I take the test, I get an A, and then the teacher comes up to me after class and she says, wow, I'm very suspicious that you got an A on this test. You know, all year you've gotten F's. I took some security camera video from the class earlier today, and I'm going to examine it and see if you really did pass the test without cheating, you know? If I didn't use my Apple Watch, if I was a smart kid and I took the test and I was confident that I passed, I would say, all right, sure, whatever. Go ahead and look at the camera. I am very certain that I did not cheat on this test. But if I was a cheater, I would say, what the hell? Why would you want to do that? Why don't you just trust me? So it's some of that fuckery going on that I don't like from the media. And Fox News has just completely, you know, shot themselves in the foot. It's very interesting to see how Fox News was so pro-Trump, so, you know, pro-Republican. It was like the Republicans' news source, and CNN and MSNBC and all those other stupid-ass communist news networks were all for the left and the Democrats. And now, since this election, Fox News has sort of just completely abandoned their main viewership and embrace the crazy liberals, dude. It's very interesting to see how Fox News is sort of sinking right now. And that's why now it's more important than ever to seek out like independent news outlets like Daily Wire and independent journalists like Elijah Schaefer, Steven Crowder. These are the people that are bringing it to you how it is. They're not sugarcoating anything. They don't have some sinister agenda. They might have political bias, but that's fine. You know, as long as they acknowledge their political bias and they can criticize their own party, go ahead. But when you have corporations like CNN, now Fox, by the way, I think it's all controlled by the same evil group of people, whether it's the Rothschilds, whoever, the Clintons, whatever it is, the Illuminati. I think it's all these big corporations are all controlled by a sinister group. And whether it's George Soros, who knows, dude, but I think it's all controlled by the same people, and there is no good intent. Maybe it's all made to divide the country, to create a civil war. It definitely seems like that. But god damn, you really got to go to these independent journalists now on YouTube, Tim Pool, whoever it is, because they're not compromised. At least it doesn't appear that they're compromised. I don't think InfoWars is compromised. A lot of people think Alex Jones is part of the CIA. I don't know. I can't say anything, but I like Alex Jones. I like Owen Schroyer. I like Elijah Schaefer. Savannah Hernandez. I think that's her name. Savannah. All these people are out there on the streets interviewing real people. They're putting themselves out in the middle of protests and riots. I think I'm speaking specifically more about Elijah Schaefer, who just got the shit beat out of him like a week ago. Sorry for sniffling. As I'm talking and not breathing out of my nose is just consistently dripping with slime. So there's that. And I apologize greatly. And, you know, Steven Crowder's election night stream, he streamed for like 9 hours. It got like 500,000 live viewers, dude. That's insane. That is insane. So congrats to Steven Crowder, dude. I thought about doing a live stream, but I was like, why? Why even bother? There's going to be so many giant, like, channels, YouTube channels, and companies like the Daily Wire doing their own live streams. Why would I do mine and get like 2 viewers? I want to go watch their live stream, for fuck's sake. God damn. But anyways, we are going to kick off into some headlines. And these headlines are the headlines that I compiled from earlier today. So we're going to switch on over. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll be able to read these with me. But why would you read these with me when I can just read them to you? Our first headline comes from Infowars.com. AOC, Democrat leadership not radical enough. Now, this is what I think causes so much conflict. When you have radicals on both sides pushing agendas that are just preposterous. that will obviously be shut down in the Senate or whatever. It just causes conflict that is just ridiculous, in my opinion. Extreme leftist Democrat Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has slammed the party's leadership for not being radical enough before Joe Biden has even inched anywhere near the White House. Fox News reports that AOC is less preoccupied with the presidency and more with the fact that that the so-called blue wave never materialized. Yeah, because you guys are fucking insane. Stating that the party relied too heavily on outdated Democratic National Committee campaign tactics. The Congresswoman complained that too many establishment Democrats are still not embracing radical ideas like defunding the police and the so-called Green New Deal. By the way, I haven't even read these articles because I want to read them live on air. I don't want to come out and be a phony, but that is ridiculous. Radical ideas like defunding the police. Come on, guys. Green New Deal. Give me a fucking break. Labeling moderate Democrats sitting ducks. AOC said that our party isn't even online, not in a real way that exhibits competence. And so, yeah, they were vulnerable to these messages because they weren't even on the mediums where these messages were most potent. Yeah, bitches, get on Twitter and TikTok. God damn, we need every congressperson on TikTok. Jeez. This is quotes, I guess, from what she said. There's a reason Barack Obama built an entire national campaign apparatus outside the Democratic National Committee, she continued, presumably referring to Obama's infamous Organizing for Action group. And there's a reason that when he didn't activate or continue that, we lost House majorities because the party in and of itself does not have the core competencies. God damn, I could never be a congressperson or anything of intellectual stature. And no amount of money is going to fix that, AOC continued to rant. If you are the DCCC and you are hemorrhaging, what the fuck is that? Incumbent candidates to progressive insurgents, you would think that you may want to use some of those firms, but instead we ban them. So the DCCC banned every single firm that is the best in the country at digital organizing. AOC is a dumb cunt. How about that? How about I think she's fucking retarded and she knows it. I mean, she's very beautiful in some instances. I don't know if she's qualified to be a congressperson, but that's what happens in democracy. Anybody can get elected just based on how many people vote for you. I think she's right, though. I think everybody needs to get on TikTok. All of the Congress people, all of the DNC, all of the RNC, get on TikTok. Let me see how this person dances to WAP. I want to see how Mitch McConnell can WAP. I want to see how AOC and Ilhan Omar WAP it out, you know? God damn. That is how you get votes. I want to see how you dance to WAP. All right. Our next headline. So in summary, she's insane. But what do you get? Her idol is Bernie Sanders, who is also an insane kook. Who wants socialism and communism and bread lines, but as long as I can have my houses, my 3 houses, and my what, we can have bread lines, and socialism is great. Even though I've made millions of dollars on my campaign, socialism is the best political ideology. Okay. Cancel Fox News. Do you agree that Fox News has gone way too far left? Also from InfoWars. Yeah, I love not being able to breathe out of my nose. It's so great. I have never seen conservatives more angry at Fox News than they are right now. Fox News was launched on October 7th, 1996, and it immediately struck a chord with millions upon millions of conservatives that were deeply frustrated with the endless liberal bias of the mainstream media. But over the years, the network has changed. Yes, that's because, people like George Soros offer billions of dollars you know, and then these people at Fox, the head honchos at Fox, they go, "Ooh, yes, I will do as you say, George Soros." Either that or just everybody has blackmail on them, and that's what's going on. And I'm a big believer that there's some crazy blackmail ring up in government, up in Hollywood, all these major institutions. I think there's massive blackmail rings out there. Whether child sex trafficking has any relation to that, or pedophilia has any relation to that, I also wouldn't be surprised. You know, look at Epstein, all this shit. Yes, they still have Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity, and both of them are excellent. I agree. But the network as a whole has just continued to drift left. And at this point, it is hard to distinguish Fox News from CNN most of the time. I agree with that, especially with the recent coverage from these past few days. Up until just recently, most conservatives were willing to overlook the decline of the network as a whole because they could still tune into Tucker and Hannity at night. But this election has changed everything. Fox News didn't just call Arizona for Biden a few hours before CNN and many other major networks. It was literally days before CNN and most of the other networks finally followed suit. And this absolutely enraged many Trump supporters. Agreed. When Donald Trump supporters gathered outside a vote counting center in Phoenix, Arizona on Wednesday night, they had a simple and perhaps unexpected chant: "Fox News sucks." It does suck now. I still like Sean Hannity and Tucker, but goddamn, it sucks. Although the channel has become synonymous with Trump's rise to power in the last 2 days, Fox News has become the focus of the Trump campaign's anger after it made an early call on Tuesday night that the state of Arizona was going to Joe Biden. And even till this day, this is like 7 days after that, they still think Trump has a good shot at winning Arizona. So big fuck up by Fox. Inexplicably, Fox News had a Democrat named Aaron Mishkin in charge of their decision desk, and many feared that he would be way too eager to call states for Biden. That concern turned out to be well-founded, and many will never trust Fox News again because of it. And the truth is that Arizona should still not be in Biden's column at this point, because there are a ton of votes still to count, and it appears that the majority of those votes will go to Trump. Conservatives were further enraged when it was reported that Judge Jeanine Prio's show was pulled from the lineup Saturday night because she was going to report on all of the election fraud that is currently being discovered. So yeah, we still have to count the votes in Arizona, and then we have to do the investigation in Arizona that relates to voter fraud. You know, Arizona was a hotspot for for Sharpie Gate, where it appeared that many pollsters were handing out Sharpies to voters, saying to use the Sharpie on your ballot, when on the ballot it explicitly says do not use a Sharpie on this because it will bleed through and it will make your ballot invalid. But, you know, for some reason, this is happening, and I think it's happening in places more than just Arizona, but that's Sharpie Gate for you. So we have to investigate these states. And it's very interesting how whenever there's a glitch in the system or whenever there's suspected voter fraud, it's always in Joe Biden's favor. There's not one instance where, oh, we got 100,000 votes overnight and all of them were for Donald Trump. If that happened in any state, even in Texas or Florida or the most Republican states out there, if that happened for Trump, where even if it was like 1,000 votes, randomly 1,000 votes came in for Donald Trump, not one of them was for Joe Biden. And also, though other votes were cast on the ballot regarding local elections, it was just Donald Trump on the ballot. That's it. If that happened in Trump's favor, the mainstream media would be livid. Russian collusion. I'm Chris Wallace, and there is suspected Russian collusion favoring the Trump campaign once again. Yeah, so fuck Fox News. Hashtag fuck Fox. CNN's Jake Tapper suggests Trump supporters who won't accept defeat should have trouble with future employers. This is some crazy Marxist communist shit right here. CNN's Jake Tapper suggested in a tweet that Trump supporters who won't accept defeat should experience problems with future employers. But of course, every single crazy liberal who has not accepted the 2016 election where Trump defeated Hillary, they should be able to get any job they want with no problems whatsoever. And I agree with that. I think no matter who you voted for, no matter if you accepted any election, you should still be able to get a job anywhere you want. I don't think your political ideologies or what you do on the internet should affect your, career in any facet, unless you're saying outlandish or doing outlandish, crazy, horrific things like killing puppies or whatever. And this is what Jake Tapper said in a tweet. I truly sympathize with those dealing with losing. I like how he's saying this as if he isn't on CNN, the worst, most untrusted news network in all of the country, in all of the world. Well, maybe not the world, China has some shady news outlets. It's not easy. But at a certain point, one has to think not only about what's best for the nation, peaceful transfer of power, but how any future employers might see our character defined during adversity. Wow. Well, if you can have a job as an anchor at CNN and basically just complain and bitch all day, every day, then that should give hope to the American people that they can too. So Jake Tapper is a massive pussy, but that's not a shock when all of the anchors and news reporters at CNN are beta males that cry and complain like women every day. In other words, Tapper is suggesting that Trump supporters who discuss allegations of vote fraud should be punished economically. You can put it in that point. Over the past few days, innumerable Biden sycophants in the media have suggested that Trump voters be made to feel pain and be targeted by doxing and confronted. The Washington Post's Jennifer Rubin also appeared on MSNBC to assert, we have to burn down the Republican Party. We have to level them because if there are survivors, they will do this again. Jesus Christ. I feel like they want a civil war to break out. They want violence in the street. They want looting. They want rioting. And I'm sure they do. So that's the greatest coming from Jake Tapper. Some great reporting. Definitely not a biased journalist. Move over to Breitbart. Another great news source for real goddamn news. Poll. 70% of Republicans say the 2020 election was neither free nor fair. And I think this is going to be with every election, no matter what. Each side is going to say this was not a fair election or that there was voter fraud, but I don't think there's ever been mass or apparent. There's never been apparent mass voter fraud like we are seeing with this mail-in ballot bullshit. And it's very frustrating as a Republican, as somebody who supports the president. It sucks. A new poll suggests that 70% of Republicans believe the 2020 election was neither free nor fair. The poll of 1,987 registered voters conducted by Morning Consult and Politico began before Election Day, though most interviews were done afterward. A majority of both Democrats and Republicans appeared to have believed the election would be free and fair before the votes were counted. I did not, but the results have changed their impressions radically. This, of course, is no big surprise. From Help Michelle went live on Twitch. Shout out to Vince, who is battling COVID. Maybe he's done, but shout out to him. Hope all is good with Vince. So this is just it's to be expected with any election, but I can't wait to see what happens in the courts. I am very excited. I have nothing but hope for Trump. This is just Breitbart. Okay, here we go. Attorney General William Barr authorizes DOJ, the Department of Justice, to look into voting irregularities. Now, saying irregularities is like a sugarcoating term. I don't like to say irregularities. What the fuck is an irregularity? Oh, you mean when 130,000 votes are sort of somehow cast for Joe Biden at 4 a.m.? You mean how all the counting just randomly stops and then a Lamborghini pulls up to the polling station with a bucket full of votes? I guess that is kind of irregular. You can say that. Fraudulent? Maybe. Irregular? Yeah. So, okay. I will accept irregular as a term until it is determined that this is straight up fraud. And I like William Barr. I've heard many allegations that he is compromised, but who knows? Who even knows what compromised means? Who knows? Who gives a fuck? I think everybody in government is compromised in some way or another. Attorney General William Barr, in a memo issued on Monday, authorized the Justice Department to look into voting irregularities in the 2020 presidential election. The memo was addressed and signed from Barr to U.S. attorneys, the assistant attorneys general for DOJ's Criminal Division, Civil Rights Division, the National Security Division, and the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, Christopher Wray. This is what the memo said. Now that the voting has concluded, it is imperative that the American people can trust that our elections were conducted in such a way that the outcomes accurately reflect the will of the voters. Barr's memo comes after 39 House Republicans pressed Barr in a letter on Friday to allow available DOJ resources to look into allegations of voting irregularities across the country in several key battleground states. The Trump campaign has filed a number of lawsuits in some of those states. Notice how all of these irregularities have all occurred in the states that are hotly contested for the election that Donald Trump would need to win the election. All Democrat-run cities, of course. Philadelphia, Wisconsin, fucking Michigan, this bitch Governor Gretchen Whitmer. God damn. By the way, I think it's good to sort of state that when specifically I and I'm sure a lot of other people who have like podcasts about politics and political YouTube channels, when we like call people cunts and bitches like Andrea Ocasio-Cortez, it's almost like when we say that we think a certain UFC fighter sucks, or we don't like him, or you go blow a bag of dicks. We're like sort of saying this stuff as like fanboys of, you know, of the sport, if you will, of politics. I'm sure all these people are great humans to hang out with, and they would make great friends. So I'm just saying this stuff as like as a fan, if you will. I don't really think that AOC is a cunt. I'm sure she is a very nice girl. You know, Hillary Clinton, I'm sure she makes a nice bowl of mashed potatoes, but has she killed people? Maybe. Has she ordered people to be murdered and assassinated? I don't know. Let's ask Jeffrey Epstein. So I am very eager to see what happens with this. I just hope it doesn't take 7 months, because if it does, we're going to have a new president, and it's not going to be Donald Trump. It's not going to be Joe Biden. It's going to be fucking Nancy Pelosi. So maybe this was their plan all along. Just completely fuck up the system with these mail-in voting. They're going to declare Joe Biden the winner, even though the votes haven't all been counted yet. They knew it's going to go to court. They knew the mass voting irregularities would go to court, and they knew that it would be such a big case, and actually so many big cases because it spans over multiple states, that the court cases would drag on for months. making the election just, contested forever. And when that happens, Speaker of the House becomes president if no president in the election can be determined. Maybe that was their plan all along. I don't like Nancy Pelosi. I actually think that she is more wretched than Hillary Clinton, although I think Hillary Clinton has done actual evil things, if you will. I think Nancy Pelosi is a cunt, and like I said, I'm sure she's nice. She's a nice mom, nice, whatever, grandma. Sure, she makes a nice pasta salad. But as a fanboy of American politics, as an American patriot, based on the way she presents herself, if you will, to the American people, she's a cunt. I think she's worse than Hillary Clinton. I hate Nancy Pelosi, but she has big tits. All right. This was their plan all along, to get Nancy Pelosi in the White House. So I came across this last night, and it was very alarming to me. Because right when you think the fuckery couldn't get any more fucked up, it gets more fucked up. So I came across this, and this was trending on Twitter as well. Not with like tens of thousands of votes, but it was trending on Twitter. And it is hashtag Maidengate. Maidengate. It's not referring to Iron Maiden, although I wish it was. All right, so the claim is that women's maiden names used in voter fraud scheme. This means, like, if you're a woman, you got married to a man and you legally changed your last name. Now many women are discovering that their name, their maiden name, was used to vote in the election. So if your name was Angela Poopinmouth and you got married to a guy named John Peon Tits, you legally changed your name to Angela Peon Tits, but then you did some research and found out that your name, your previous name, Angela Poopinmouth, voted for Joe Biden when you voted for Donald Trump. So this is very alarming. So it's hard to explain, but let's read this. An independent group claims that women's maiden names and the previous legal names of others were used in a scheme to create fake voter registrations and request fraudulent ballots. People are familiar with the idea of dead people voting as a means of voter fraud, but this report claims that it may extend to the use not just of maiden names, but also changed names, adoptive names, and divorced names. They posted details and a detailed explanation of how to check if you or someone else has been a victim at maidengate.com. They explain the concept as followed. Hashtag Maidengate is a viral hashtag uncovering a particular type of abuse in our elections. Some married women vote in one state under their current name, while someone, a political predator, casts a vote in that same state or a state which the woman previously lived under a previous or maiden name. This same technology may affect adopted persons, the divorced people who change their names, and or transgendered persons. This credit is owed to Lauren, thanks, Lauren. That's all we have to credit you with is your first name, who discovered her mother was such a victim. Ali Alexander independently verified claims like the one Lauren made are in fact true. We are not looking for individuals who have registrations in multiple states. That's a problem, but not this problem. We are not looking for individuals who are registered multiple times in the same state. Again, a problem, but not the scope of this problem. We are looking for individuals who voted in this election or chose not to, but also had another vote cast in a previous legal name of theirs at an address they previously occupied. The group behind the website says they have uncovered multiple instances and are seeking to find out if it was widespread. So it just keeps going on and on, folks. Or I have to clean my nose with a tissue because the shit's dripping and I can't help it. Go over here. This is the hashtag Maidengate, and there's a lot of people out there saying that, oh, there's no proof of voter fraud, and it's the same fucking people that thinks Russia actually colluded in the 2016 election. I mean, I think Russia and all these different communist countries, they always are going to try to collude, well, not collude, but interfere in elections, in American elections, but they didn't, like Trump didn't collude with Russia. Come on, dude. Are there going to be Russian bots on Twitter? 100%. Are there going to be Russian bots on Facebook and Instagram? 100%. So this is scary if this is true. But this is a fresh controversy, allegation. So we have to wait and see what comes from this. That's going to be our headlines for today, ladies and gentlemen. Damn, I look good right there. Damn, that is some good quality webcam video. This is a shitty webcam. It'll probably be awful in the export as it renders. That's all I can say for today's episode. I want to thank everybody for listening and watching this on YouTube. I am going to be working after we record MMA Roasted. And after that is all sorted out, I am going to move the Joe Perez Show to iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, all that good shit. So thank you very much for watching. I hope everybody has a wonderful day, week. I'll be back here later in the week for another episode. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to my TikTok. My TikTok is currently still at the Weendog or at Weendog. I'm going to change it to the Joe Perez Show. And surprisingly, I made like 3 TikToks last night about, current political shit. One of them has like 30,000 views. The other 2 have like almost 10,000 views. I'm getting like 1,000 subscribers or followers like each week. So I might be the next Charlie D'Amelio. I might be the next King Botch. You never know. I might be the next Ben Shapiro in the political world. I'm going to be the Ben Shapiro of TikTok. So I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for watching. I got to go do MMA Roasted. Have a good day.